Yeah, you can now.
Yeah, I can. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Look at this merch I got.
No.
So we've got a chat over here, and I said, "Who's a member?" And I thought you'd like to know. We've got Nick Costrellin, James
Yep.
Giblin,
Yep.
just Seth.
All
Um,
right, Seth. Just
Nick.
Seth.
And then Everett Norwood says, "Not currently, but we'll certainly look into it." And then Eugene Park says that he's the king of TTP.
All right. There you go.
I like it. All right, so I think people are still coming in. We've got about 81 members, but I thought it would be great to kick this off with your backstory, Brent, and then
Yep.
we'll go into a live Q&A format where people ask questions in the chat. Hannah's going to monitor those, and so
Yep.
I'll ask you questions from that, and we might even bring someone on to do a live video question.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how long have you been at this wholesaling thing?
I love it. So I started, classic read Rich Dad Poor Dad as a mushy-brained 20-year-old. And I was like, oh, real estate's it. I love it. I love the whole idea of it. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to build businesses. I want to own real estate. So what do? You think you need to get a real estate license. So I did that. And didn't understand that you could just go into something like wholesaling. Wholesaling wasn't a really big thing back in 2004. At least I didn't know about it, right? So this is 2004. And so I became a real estate agent with the full intention to be a real estate investor, to flip properties, to find deals, to be the guy that got the best deals and could find it, and just kind of fell into the day-to-day role of being a real estate agent. And so I kind of pulled out, kind of fell out of that, and opened up a brokerage, quickly closed the brokerage because it was 2008 and the economic world collapsed. And so then I had to kind of start over, reinvent myself. So started really getting back into finding deals in 2012, and was just finding them for the investor clients that I had. I knew I had some fix and flippers that were doing some deals, so I would go out there and I would source deals from them from door knocking. So for like a year and a half, 2 years, I knocked doors with a group of people. I convinced a group of people to knock doors with me. And so we knocked on like 15,000 doors. I think we did like maybe 8 deals, you know what I mean, from those efforts. And then figured out how to, I was at a door one time, David, and the gal didn't want to sell her house, but she said, I'm the caretaker for the house just down the street. And to give her your number. So she called, it was fine. And she gave me her phone number. And so I just called her up and we had a great conversation. We found out what she wanted. And that was like my first deal. Right. And I was like, all I need is a phone number. And this is back, 2013-ish. All I need is a phone number. And at that time, there wasn't skip tracing companies. There was, but you had to go through a lot of different hoops. You had to jump through a lot of different hoops to get the ability to even skip trace. And skip tracing was anywhere from 30 cents to like $1. So at that time, it was really, really, really difficult. But luckily, my real estate brokerage had LexisNexis, which is, a database that has a bunch of numbers. So I was able to start, just kind of piecing it together. I was hand dialing all these people. I had them like on an Excel list. I would like check it off the people that I called and talked to or left messages for. And I just started building it up and started getting a ton of deals. I mean, nobody was cold calling on properties that were distressed. So it really worked out. And I learned from being super broke and I was living off my parents' credit card, which is like the most cushy sentence that I could even imagine coming out of my mouth. But I was in 2010 and 11 and digging myself out. I figured that as long as I talk to people, as long as I TTP, right? That's where the whole philosophy comes from. As long as I talk to people every single day about distressed real estate, I cannot lose. I'll never go broke again. I'll always succeed. I'll always be able to be to financially support my family and have a lot of like action in my life, which I love. And so that's where it really came from, is pulling myself out. And I realized the times that I was really broke and really kind of like scummy and not really my full potential was always the times when I would like shut out and not reach out and be proactive and kind of just sit back and hope things come my way. And so I learned not to do that again. And so I went bananas. I went absolutely bananas and started talking to everybody. And then I found the Wholesaling Inc. podcast in 2015, signed up for that in 16. And that really helped me get into a group of people that are phenomenal, including Tom Kroll, Cody Hoffine, and Todd Toback. And from there, everything's really exploded. And now I coach people all around the country to successfully get deals from talking to people, from picking up the phone. And it's not just, David, it's not just, distressed property list, but also building up a referral database of people that bring you deals time and time again, because you're the guy or gal in your market. So talking to people, that's the business if you're wholesaling.
Wow. I don't think I've heard your full story before, back to even like brokerage in 2008. Man, that's a brutal time to start a brokerage.
Yeah. Well, I signed a I think it was a 10-year lease. And on a 7,000 square foot space. I was bananas. I wasn't using facts. I was just using hope. I was hoping that things would work out. I wasn't using the facts of actual income and thinking these things out. I had a lot of bravado, a lot of ego. And so I signed on the dotted line for this long lease. And the thing about that is if you don't pay them, they sue you, which I didn't know, And so I knew fast. So I owed them $742,000 or the remainder of the lease. And that stuck around for a while. So I had to eventually get to the point where I could negotiate that down. And
Dang, that's a long, expensive lease.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, for anybody on here, if you're starting at zero or if you're broke or whatever, I was in the whole, almost 800,000, and I felt it. I felt it a lot, and it really weighed on me. So I had to go. I had to get as proactive as I could, because obviously I didn't have the budget for marketing or doing anything else. I knew just personality wise that I couldn't get a job. I don't even know if they would let me get a job, or if I could apply for a job, having a judgment like that, and going into something and getting my pay docked off the bat. You know what I mean? So I just kind of went out and did what I had to and built it up, got that paid off. And now life is amazing because I talk to people. And now I have the fortune, thanks to you and the 178 people on here today, that I got to talk to all you guys and encourage everybody out there to consistently have quality conversations with distressed property owners every single day. If you do that, you win. It's undefeated. It is flawless. If you have quality conversations with distressed property owners every single day, or build a company that does that, or hire people that do that and lead them, manage them, your life changes forever. It's a cash machine. It's hitting the lottery. It truly is. Yeah.
And so you do coaching, but you've still maintained your business side, flipping the homes, right? 100%. Your dad runs it now, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So I brought my dad in to run the day to day. We were actually I just got out of interviews with some amazing potential acquisition managers. And so I spend about 5 to 10 hours a week in my wholesaling business. We do just over $1 million, and I keep 40% of it. So it's really a blessing to be able to, not have to do the day-to-day and be in there and build a machine and have really great people run it, like my dad and family and some friends. So, yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing your story. I think it gives some great context. We've all got those background stories. So it's awesome to hear that you started with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like me and so many other people. But to hear your individual part of it as well. We've got some questions already, so I might just start asking some of those. JS says, once you create a list of properties driving for dollars, how many times would you try to cold call them?
3 times max. And
Three
here's the
times
thing. I mean,
max.
yeah. hmm
Why?
Yeah. Well, a couple different things. First of all, when you start, you have to watch it. So let's say, David, we go out, we drive for dollars, we get 100 addresses and we skip trace it. Well, skip tracing, they could come back with 6 to 10 numbers. First of all, I only upload the first 3. The statistics show that the first number is like 78% of the time is going to be the right number. Okay, so I don't go, you could get all the way further down the line of all these disconnected numbers and all these numbers that are, relatives or tenants or something in there, that old tenants. But I found that if I upload the first 3, if I'm using a dialer, which we do, we use the Mojo dialer, I turn off what's called the call hammer, okay, which means it only dials the first number of that lead, and I go through the whole list that way first. And with any driving for dollars and any probates and pre-foreclosures, you can go through it and try to talk to as many people as possible the first time. The second time, you got to be dropping. You got to give specific voicemails on these properties, and you got to talk to them about the specific property, because they're getting a ton of generic messages on, hey, I'm looking to buy a home in the neighborhood. Well, if you say, hey, I'm looking to buy your house at 1212 East Camelback Road, I've been by it, I know the area, I'm just interested to see if you would consider an offer on your property, you're going to get a more likely that they're going to call you back if they are motivated. So it's tedious, but it is strong. Now, test it out. If nobody's calling you back, or if all the callbacks are terrible, then don't leave voicemails. Just run through it. But I only go through it 3 times, David, because after that, the contact rate goes so low that I don't want to be paying somebody $20 an hour, which I pay my American cold callers $20 an hour. I don't want to be paying them to talk to 3 people an hour. So.
Okay. So is the time of day important?
I can say yes, but that gives people excuse to not call. Right.
Gotcha.
It's funny. So what I would say is this, like, you can look at all the statistics online and look at what it's at. I'm going to just tell you from experience of millions of calls and years of doing this and coaching everybody, right, is called when the sun's up, right? Call sometime when the sun's up. If the sun's not up, people are going to get grouchier at you. Okay. I don't call on Sundays. People do. Who knows? You know what I mean? So I think calling the sun up, and the most important thing is call when you can be consistent. The most important thing here is sustainability. Have enough self-awareness to say, if you don't call, I couldn't call in the afternoon. If I didn't do it from 9 to noon, it would never get done, David. It would never get done. It would be like everything would get in the way. Everything would be more important. And all those little creative avoidance would creep in and prevent me from doing it. So I always got it done early, got it done, and it seemed to really build on itself, and it became consistent. And then I really started to have a lot of fun with it. And then I really just got really, really excited to do it, because I knew after about that first 90 days of going, the deals started popping and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I knew that on the dialer, when I was calling, that was money time. That was like sacred time. Like nothing prevented me from that time. That was like the time that I really was getting the highest and best use of my time from an income standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fascinating.
Yep.
I love that. All right. So Danny G says, I am brand new in Los Angeles. He's been cold calling and driving for dollars every day. He can't seem to get any traction. And is it a waste of time to do it in Los Angeles, in your opinion?
No, I have students in Los Angeles crushing it. What I will tell you is look for properties that look for vacant lots for sure. Look for any kind of multifamily. I don't care if it's big or whatever. If anything's vacant, if anything's beat up, get on the outskirts as much as you can and get into the neighborhoods that if somebody were to fix it up and sell it, it would be in that kind of first time home buyer area. Okay, because in LA, they've just got people, big companies, big developers, big flippers, big whatever, that have big budgets, and they'll outspend you. So you got to out hustle them. So no, I don't think so. And I'd be really curious to see how many people he's called, how many conversations he's had, and if he's had any leads. You know, it feels like, and Danny, if you're just getting going in this thing, it feels like after calling a week that you've like called everybody, that it's exhausting and everything. You got to go consistent 3 hours a day. If you have it, if you don't, go as much as you can, but you got to build it up to where you can go 3 hours a day for at least 90 days and start building before you know if it works or not. And it will work. I'm telling you, if you do that, you will get deals. It's impossible not, unless you're like the most offensive human of all time, which I guarantee you're not, because you're on this webinar. So yeah.
Hey, Hannah, can you bring on Brandon Tepper? Brandon's from Phoenix, so I want to bring him on answer his.
Let's go, Brandon. He's going to come visit me in the office, I bet.
He should. Only if you give him a limo and champagne, though. That's what he says.
First class. Yeah, there you go. That's fine.
All right. While Brandon's coming on, we've got LeBron's Garrett. He says he's a new wholesaler in Atlanta, but it seems like every time he gets to a property, it already belongs to another wholesaler.
Okay.
He's asking if he should change his location.
No. Atlanta's hot. Bro, I just got a deal in Atlanta. We just got a deal cold calling in Atlanta, and we aren't even cold calling in Atlanta. Okay? Like, we got a deal from somebody in Atlanta on a multifamily. We'll probably make 30, 40,000. So stick to it. Like, you got to get past this first 90 days. You got to go consistent. You're gonna build leverage. And by the way, Atlanta's blowing up, man. Atlanta's like the hub of the country. You know what I mean? Like, really, like if you have to go into some of the outskirts and get some deals under your belt to feel comfortable with it, but trust me, all the deals are not gone. Remember, guys, 6 to 10% of your market is in distress. 6 to 10%. Okay, so there's what, 1.5 million homes in Atlanta. That means 75,000 people are in distress. If you did 20 or 40 or 50 of those, your life would change. So yeah, rock and roll, man. You got this. Just stay consistent. Keep going with it.
All right, that's good advice for LeBron's. Oh, we've got Brandon now. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
There we go.
What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So I just moved to Phoenix, actually from Chicago, and I just like in December I started getting into wholesaling, and like just kind of learning about it and stuff. And my cousin's girlfriend, who just got her real estate license here, said I could only do 5 wholesale deals a year.
Okay.
Is that true?
Why?
She said that's the law. So like back in Illinois.
The law in Arizona? No. Maybe in Illinois, but not in Arizona. No. Illinois is the only one that you have to have a license at.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I moved here, so I could do that stuff here.
Yep.
So,
no, dude, I mean, listen, I have a license, but I mean, there's tons of people throughout the whole, some of the biggest wholesalers in our state don't have licenses. So no, don't worry about that.
Sure. I just wanted to get clarity,
Yeah, that's good. No,
I want to get
I
this thing going and stuff.
I can see how that's confusing coming from Illinois for sure. But
right.
Yeah. No, Arizona's the Wild West, baby. Let's go.
I know. Exactly. Heck yeah. And I'm going to come see you in your office. I know you have.
Yeah, where you live? Where do you live?
I live actually way up north in Anthem.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. We do. Check out the meetups. I usually post them on social media. And then if you go to talktopeople.com and go and join as like an insider, it'll post all the events that we do here. So definitely come.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Excellent. Yep. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Good question. Get going. Get some deals.
I will. I just applied for my LLC actually. So
awesome.
I'm just waiting on that stuff.
Don't wait.
Well, I mean, not wait for that. I'm just, to actually be, safe and be protected.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, man. David.
See you, brother. See you soon.
Later.
Awesome.
All right. So Marinos says they have a seriously distressed property, home gutters falling off and tarp on the roof. And they tried calling and no answer. Should they just show up at the door and knock on the door?
Try texting them, right? See if they'll respond to a text. Get them there. Some people will reach out through DMs. If you find them on Facebook or on Instagram, you can try to, find the owner and see if they're, plug them into Instagram or Facebook, try to DM them, see if you can get them there. And yeah, go to the door. I mean, if it looks like something that's you're safe doing and you feel comfortable and confident doing it, then absolutely go to the door and see if you can have a conversation with them for sure. Yep.
Love that. Nick says, do you have any examples of how to call people in tax default or trustee sales?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if what you mean is example, but we use the same script for everything. We ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. So, we'll call up somebody and say, hi, I'm looking for David, right? And you're like, yeah, this is David, right? And I say, hi, my name is Brent. I know this is completely out of the blue, but I was calling about your property at whatever the tax default address is. Yeah, what about it, right? Well, actually, I was just calling to see if you would consider an offer on your property there, right? And so that from there, they only give you 6 responses. I'm telling you guys, there's only 6 responses. Yes, they do want to sell. No, never call me, no, I don't want to call. Maybe I do want to call, but in the future, we're thinking about it. It's kind of going there, but not yet. Okay. How much will you give me? Right. That's the 4th one. Yeah. How much will you give me? Right. 5 is who are you? And the 6th is how'd you get my number? So those are the 6 things that they say to you. So have responses to that. Again, talktopeople.com, TTP Insider. You can get the scripts. You can get a ton of downloads. It's incredible. So I encourage you guys, I want to put that all out there because I want you to get deals, somewhat selfishly, because I want you to get deals so that you join the TTP program and really blow off. So I'm trying to give you as much of the stuff that you need. Remember, guys, there's no secrets in this business. There's just things you don't know yet. So I'm trying to put a lot of those things that I didn't know into that TTP Insider so that you guys can, kind of jump to the head of the line.
Love that.
Yeah.
What have you done when you found a property that doesn't have heirs and the owners are dead?
It doesn't have, well, somebody has to own it, right? So what? It goes back to the state. So reach out to the government, or reach out to the city, reach out to whoever ends up buying it, right? So somebody's going to have to owe it, right? Because taxes are owed on that, and the city doesn't want to be responsible or get the revenue from the tax. They don't want to miss out on that. So they're either going to hold it for themselves, which is silly. They almost never do it unless they do it for a specific purpose, or they sell it off at some sort of auction or share sale or something like that. So what I would do is I would talk to a real estate attorney, or even better, this is a little hack, right? I love this, David. I don't care if you're in an attorney state or if you're in a title and escrow state. Go to the title and escrow company that does the most and the best job at wholesaling deals. Just post to Facebook and say, who's the best escrow officer, and see who likes a certain name 15 times or 5 times or whatever. Find whoever's the best. Ask to talk to their in-house attorney, their in-house counsel, and just say, hey, listen, I've got this address. I'd love to get a hold of them. How do I know who owns this? And they'll help you out. It's the title company. The title company will let you know, or the closing attorney.
That's an awesome one that a lot of people don't take advantage of. What about, all right, we've got 46 questions queued, so I'm going to keep going here. When you get someone on the phone, what's the best way to keep them talking is what Nancy asks.
I love it. So a couple different things. Number 1 is your tone of voice. If you ask people, if you keep your same tone, I don't care if they have the most boring tone of all time. If you keep your tone like this, they're not going to stick on the phone with you, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2 is anything they say, confirm and approve what they're saying. I don't care what it is. Oh, 3 bedrooms? Got it. Oh, great. You've lived there 12 years. Wow, that's incredible. You know what I mean? Confirm and approve these things, and then don't cause friction. Don't disagree with them on things. Don't fight with them on things. If they're crazy, be great. Okay, you're just confirming and approving. So that's number 1. Number 2. Number 3 is I highly suggest when you're asking people, when you're pre-qualifying them to see if they're a deal, ask them about the condition of the property. So get them talking. Ask this question. What remodeling have you done to the kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years? And then just keep asking questions about the property. And then all of a sudden, they're going to tell you everything about everything. So the idea is don't just hammer them too hard. Keep your tone really engaged and actively listen when they're talking. You know, nothing is worse than, and how old is your home? And how many bedrooms? And how old's the roof? Right?
That's
it
boring.
feels like an interrogation. It's an interrogation. It's not a conversation. So when they're talking, you have to be involved there. You have to actively listen. Whenever I'm hiring a new phone prospector for my team, I want to know one thing. Do they actively listen? Do they actively listen? And then I can coach them on how to confirm and approve. I can make sure that they're using a good tone. I can make sure that they're asking about the condition. But if somebody's not naturally an active listener, then you got to develop that, especially if you're going to get deals on the phone. But I think most of the people that would be on this chat are interested or are asking these questions are those really special group of people that you know understand how to communicate.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I have a question. You said you pay your callers $20 an hour. Do they have incentives for closing a deal?
Nope.
Okay.
No, and it's interesting. So I tried it both, David. I really did. I tried $100 bonuses. I tried whoever closed the most got a blah, blah, blah. You know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
It's a pretty good hourly wage.
Well, not only that, here's the thing that you have to understand. So my callers are all in South America. Specifically, they're in Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica. Let me explain something about Costa Rica to you. It's a socialist country. Okay, there are no jobs for Americans living in Costa Rica. So you either go to Costa Rica and you're balling out and retired and you have enough money to live out the rest of your life in paradise there, or you know, you move to Costa Rica and to try to get some sort of telephone job, which usually is customer service. And if they can do sales, great. They prefer it. When they want to do this is like the best job that they can get. So I use callmotivatedsellers.com, Call Motivated Sellers. Been using them for 3 years, and they've made me millions.
Amazing. Interesting. Didn't know that about Costa Rica.
Yeah. I didn't either. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's just no jobs. So it's interesting.
So Justin Martin wants you to go into more details about your dialers.
My prospectors?
I'm not sure if he means dialing software or your prospectors.
I assume he means prospectors. So
okay.
Yeah, I've got 5. They give me between 160 and 200 hours a week, and it's not like, oh, I'm doing millions and millions and millions of deals. No, I mean, it's super competitive, obviously, in Phoenix, but we get really big deals. Our average deal is $27,000. And we do 4 to 5 a month. It's not crazy, but it's a $1.2 million business, and I keep a whole bunch of it. And that's what I think is really, really, really important. And I don't want to go off on a tangent, but this business is built for you to take money out of the business and put it into your family's account and to buy assets, pay down debt, and really have a different opportunities for your family. If you're keeping it in your business, you are an idiot. You're an idiot. It's going to go away. You're going to spend it on stupid things. You're 1 or 2 months away from disaster. So knock it off. Put it into your bank. Keep 2 months of reserves in your bank. Everything else, take it off the top. That's my suggestion. People won't listen, but that's okay. But literally, and if you're just starting out, if people are just starting out, guys, you need to keep 80 to 90% of what you make on your deals. Don't get too crazy. Don't go, oh, I got this deal from cold calling and made $10K. I'm going to use 5 of it, and I'm going to send out mailers. Or I'm going to use 5 of it, and I'm going to text blast, and I'm going to hire somebody, and I'm going to do all these things. Keep your budget really tight until you've built up a nest egg to where you can quit your current job, till you feel comfortable moving forward, till you feel comfortable bringing on other people, and then start rocking and rolling. It's not a sexy topic, but I'm telling you guys, it's going to keep you, it's going to save you from a lot of heartache and a lot of heartburn for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people immediately plow everything back into the business.
Yep. Yeah, because we think it's an investment. We really do. What I'll tell you is this. When you have only 2 months of reserves in your account, you get hungry. You get hungry for it. And when you're hungry, that's the biggest thing between difference between superstars and the people that just kind of dabble in this is the hunger part. You know what I mean? So when you do eventually make these big checks and get these massive deals and start building up your bank account bigger than it ever has been before, you're going to get a little comfy. You're going to get a little comfortable. Pull it out, get it away, put it to the side, put it into savings, pay off debt, whatever it is, and keep moving forward and build it. I'm telling you, once you can build a machine that keeps your business hungry every single day, that's real. That's what you want.
I love it. Duck Wynn says, what are your distress lead lists?
Well, number one, driving for dollars. And I love that you one-upped my latest virtual driving for dollars video. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on the YouTube channel, Brent Daniels Real Estate. I had my guys told me about it, David. My guys that just started on my coaching side were doing deals from TTP. They're in my program. They said, Brent, why don't you do more virtual driving for dollars? That's what we did. We got like every house in Phoenix. And I was like, what are you talking about? They showed me exactly how to do it. So everybody, if you guys are on this, make sure you go to David's. We got to convince David because he's being stingy with us right now. We got to convince him on his YouTube channel to go and say, yes, you want him to make the upgrade to DealMachine to make it easier to do virtual driving for dollars. Is that on your YouTube?
Yeah, I'll have Hannah drop the link there. But yeah, it was brilliant whenever you posted that video, and it really got me thinking because you had the Google Maps over here and you were looking for the distressed houses, and then you had DealMachine up in a different tab. And I noticed you were just copying, that there's a manual part of that. So I said, well, if you guys want it, we'll make a Chrome extension. So when you're on Google Maps, you can click a button to add that property you've pinned in Google Maps.
Genius.
Bring it over to DealMachine that way.
Easy.
But yeah, I don't want to spend time and money doing it.
So anyway, let's get back to answer it. I'm sorry. Yeah, you do want to spend time and money, David. I'm telling you, everybody will love it. You'll be the hero and sales will go through the roof. You'll be the richest guy in town. So boom. Anyway, the list. So what I love, tired landlord list for multifamily, duplex, triplex, fourplex, land in town. These are my three. So driving for dollars, probates. I love the probates. 75% of probates in my county, Maricopa County, sell in the first 90 days. Guys, pre-foreclosures. If they're not answering you, go to their door. They're avoiding a lot of calls, but pre-foreclosures, if you guys aren't following Pace Morby on Instagram, you're really missing out. He's putting 2 or 3 of these deals under contract every week. He literally films it and he shows you exactly what he does. And he gives you audio recording. It's crazy. Anyway, so I definitely follow that. And those are my top ones. And then obviously, because we have we have huge horsepower, I need to have big lists. So I need all the absentee owner lists. I need all the owner equity lists. And so we go through that, but those are a lot tougher and a lot less motivated, but you do get some deals from it. Because here's the thing, if somebody tells you no, they don't want to sell their property, that's fine. I'm telling you, I've made a fortune on asking the follow-up question, which is, oh, I completely understand. Do you have any other properties that you would want to sell right now? Maybe something that needs a little bit of love, something that needs some renovation. I'm telling you, catching that second property is, oh man, you can make a ton of money on that.
Love it.
Yep.
All right. So Darlene Moore says, oh, actually, Hannah, can you bring Darlene Moore on? She's got a lengthy question. All right. So Mike Keller says he's in Michigan. He wants a virtual wholesale in Atlanta. Any thoughts? Basically, I think he's trying to say,
why do you want to be in
stuff in Michigan?
Just find out, is he in a small market? Is that why he wants to go into Atlanta?
Yeah, he's rural area.
Okay, so that's fine. A couple different things. First of all, you have a huge advantage there because Key Glee is in Atlanta. Now, here's your advantage that you have with Key Glee. They have the biggest cash buyer database in Atlanta, which is crazy. And if you just Google Key Glee, you're going to find them. And what they'll do is they'll comp the houses that you want to get, and they'll give you a number of what price you want to get before you do an appointment or before you give them an offer. So one of the toughest parts about this business when you're starting out is this a deal or is this not a deal, right? That's the toughest part when you're starting out. So that's already out of the way. The second biggest part, toughest part is how big of a deal is it? And they're going to let you know. So that's going to really help you out. So that's my best advice. If you're going to go into Atlanta and you're going to do it virtually and you want boots on the ground and them taking pictures and doing all that for you, are they going to take half your deal? Sure. But they're going to do more than half the work. I'll tell you that.
Love it.
Yep.
All right. Let's see here.
There's Darlene.
Hey, Darlene. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Darlene. Oh, she's on twice. Darlene, you there? Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was her question? And maybe we can get going on it.
I'll give her a second. I'm going to do, because I'm not scrolled on it now, but Melissa.
Oh, there she is. Darlene, you there? It's moving it there.
All right. So Darlene says she's been trying to wholesale in North Carolina, and she hears it's supposed to be good, but she has no leads. She works a 9 to 5. We don't have high grass showing vacancy. And she wants your suggestions. She has done some driving for dollars in her off time.
There she is. Hey, you're on here, Darlene. How are you?
All right. Y'all caught me at a bad time because I was not expecting this. I'm comfortable.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So you got a full-time job. You've been trying to get some deals.
Yes.
What city in North Carolina are you?
Raleigh.
Okay, got it. So what's the question?
So basically what I've been doing is on my off time, I drive around and see what I can find. We have no high grass here, so you don't never know it's vacant unless you actually go up on the property, which
Sure.
I don't mind doing that. But my thing of it is I have been unsuccessful in finding any leads to even start so I can quit my job and do this full time.
Yep. Are you going after only vacant houses?
Anything I see vacant.
Okay, go after anything you see that needs any kind of work.
Right.
They
That's
don't have to be vacant.
Okay.
People can be living in them. I'd say 90% of the houses we get, people live in them. So don't be afraid of people occupying the
I
property.
didn't even think about that. Okay. I would definitely.
Yeah, it could be a tenant. It could be the owner. Maybe they can't take care of it anymore. But when you're driving for dollars, and David does a really good job of showing you what to look for in that.
Okay.
What properties to look for. But yeah, you 100% can work with people that live in there.
Okay. And what is David's name so I can look for that video?
It's under DealMachine.com.
Okay.
Darlene, if you're in DealMachine
Mm-hmm.
and you add a property, open up that property and go down to the tags section. Every single tag in there is something that you should be looking for. It includes stuff like tall grass, a handicap ramp, and a window air conditioner unit, hole in the roof. It's all there in the tags section for you to reference.
Okay.
Yep.
I will definitely do that. Thank you, guys.
You're so welcome. Glad you joined us.
Yes. I've been following y'all for a while, and I follow a couple of others because I'm trying to. They say information overload.
Yep.
But it can never be too much information overload. But I'm more of a hands-on person.
Yep.
So I've been trying to find somebody that can kind of guide me at least a day, and then show me what I need to do, and then let me run with it.
Do you go to any of the local like real estate meetup groups?
No, I haven't found any just yet.
Come on. Just go to meetup.com, and look for what groups are going on, what real estate investing groups are going on in your area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think I look for RIA.
Yep. You can, but even in Meetup, just put real estate investing and see what's around.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Darlene.
All right.
Here, I got one that I've got heard a lot, Brent, and this is from Melissa Garcia. Wants you to tell her about the do not call list.
Yep. What does she want to know?
I think she just wants to know if she needs to follow it.
Oh, so you can filter through the do not call list at dnc.com. So they'll filter out everybody that's on that list. And what I would say, this is the advice that I tell you. Talk to a really, really good telecommunications attorney and ask them what you're doing, what calls you're making, that you're reaching out to buy properties, and follow their advice.
Okay. All right. That's good legal advice. Ask an attorney. Do you scrub against the do not call list?
We do. Yep.
Okay.
We scrub against the do not call list. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. So Kyle says, with people moving out of Illinois into Indiana, I just said Illinois.
Come on, player.
Should we follow them into Indiana market or stay in Illinois?
Well, I mean, if you're doing business in Illinois, go for it. Oh, you mean because you need a license?
The licensing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I would say if you don't want to get your real estate license, then you got to move your markets for sure. Yeah. So I probably wouldn't go where everybody else is going. You know what I mean? But you know, it's a life choice, right? Do you want to literally move to somewhere else, or do you just want to do it virtually? So if you're going to do it virtually, there's a totally different set of skills that you need. You need to be able to do everything on the phone and make sure that you understand that process. Make sure you pick the markets that you want to be in. And it's going to take time to understand values in those markets. That's why I see a lot of people following, and not to plug them again, but I'm telling you guys, it's a huge advantage. And I get nothing out of this. They're just friends, but Keegley's in like 8 or 9 markets, and they'll hook you up with a lot of the legwork. So just letting you know.
Thank you so much, Brent. And Brian wants to know, how do you handle people do they get upset with your wholesale fee when they see how much you made at the closing table?
No, I mean, here's the thing. There's a couple different things. First of all, the buyer already knows, okay? And then the seller typically has no idea what you're making because it's on the buyer's side. It's a tagline on the buyer's side. And like what we do here, the seller doesn't even see the buyer's side. There's 2 different closing statements. They only see their side. So you got to see if your title company will do 2 different closing statements. Not all of them want to. Settlement statements. Not all of them like doing that, but find somebody that does. It's a huge advantage for you just to avoid any of that. But I've never, ever, ever had a deal fall apart because of it. And listen, if I have a giant monster deal, then I'll just close it. If I really feel wiggly with it, I'll just close it, and that'll be that. So. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we've got a new question here I've never heard of. So Hannah, I want you to be on the ball here. Everett Norwood wants to know if you can go into his account on this call, bring it up as a screen share, and see if the pictures he has are good homes for wholesaling.
Yeah.
So Hannah, if you could figure out how to do that, that would be awesome.
I mean, what I would say, Everett, is you are overthinking it, brother. I mean, if it looks like it needs some rehab, go after it. If it looks like it might need a little bit of rehab, go after it. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. Don't put all these hurdles in the way. And listen, I'm happy to do this, and I love it, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is I don't want this to be that thing, that stiff arm that you do to make sure that you're calling on the right properties. Even if they're the worst houses in the market, people can still be like, I'm not selling, never call me again, whatever. You don't get that deal, or somebody else gets that deal. So I think a lot of times we hallucinate and we think that only certain properties will sell. It's not true. We also hallucinate and assume that all sellers care about price. It's not true. I've had sellers that literally just give us properties. But we talk to a lot of people.
Nancy says, when a seller says they want to sell their house, what next?
Well, then you got to explain. So download the script, the TTP script at TTP Insider. But basically what I do is I explain to them how we work. So David says, yes, I do want to sell my home. I say, okay, great. Well, listen, the way that we purchase properties is all cash. There's no real estate commissions. We pay all the closing costs. And the best part is we buy it completely as is. So you don't have to put another cent into the property. So David, for an offer like that, how much would you take? Right? So then we get into price, we get into this and that. Well, I don't know. You tell me, you called me, and then you just start talking and you start going through it. So the conversation really opens up after you tell them the way that you work, but you don't just say it robotically. You explain that like it's almost exciting. Well, that's great. Just to tell you the way that we purchase properties, it's all cash, right? It's all in the script. And then from there, it opens up. They don't want to, they won't give you the price. And then you say either, you got to do some homework and look for it, or you can throw out, you can pull up the property on Zillow and give a percentage of the Zillow price if you want to take a shot across the bow, or you just say, hey, listen, you ask them about the price and they go, I don't know. You tell me, you called me. Okay, absolutely. That's fair, David. One of the most important things when we're putting together our offer is to know the condition of the property. Have you done any major remodeling to the kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years? Right? And then boop, 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 the roof, the air conditioner unit, the heater, the water heater, blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me, if you were to, just have a magic wand and fix everything in the house, what would that wand fix? So,
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reading a couple questions here.
You got a great group here. I mean, this is a lot of participants. Is this from an email list or something? This is wild.
Yeah, we send an email and a push notification in the app, but Brent, you're our guest. Did you expect anything less?
No, this is incredible. This is really cool. It's just, I'm hearing questions from people that I haven't heard from. So this is really exciting.
Awesome. Glad you're enjoying it as much as we are. So We've got 122. I'm really going to try and go fast here. Left.
David,
yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but so for Everett, we're not able to share his screen, but I'm going to actually pull it up for him if we can bring him on, and then I'll share his prop things if you still want to do that.
Let's look at a couple properties. That's what I think. That'd be great. Daryl says, what do you do with a list that's 6 months old? Is it still worth calling?
Sure. Yeah. It just depends on what that list is. If the list is a pre-foreclosure, probably not. If the list is a probate, maybe. If a list is an absentee owner, sure. If the list is vacant, absolutely. If the list is a code violation of some sort, sure. You know what I mean? So, yeah, go for it. Cool. But, some of the ones that are time sensitive where they're going to actually lose the property is a whole thing. Is not going to be the best to do.
Let's see. All right. So Joseph says he's a truck driver. He's driving a lot and he cold calls while he's driving his truck.
Awesome.
Can you give him tips for cold calling? Because I'm always driving and it's kind of tough when you're working on 2 jobs and have to touch my phone for every single time I'm going through a list.
So I guess I would have to find out if he's hand dialing or if he's doing it through a dialer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But if he's driving and calling, you got to do what you got to do. I think the most important thing is when you're on that call, be on that call. Obviously you're driving, so be safe for sure. But you're a professional, driver. So, you should be able to I don't know, be safe doing it, hopefully. But what I would say is, if it's something that's really, really good and something that's a really good conversation you want to focus, then pull over and make sure that you're getting the notes, You're taking, you understand what they're being said, what they're saying. You understand the property. You understand what their timeline is, and rock and roll.
Roy Jant says, do you text from Mojo? And
No.
do you use a CRM?
I don't think you can text from Mojo. I mean, maybe that's a new thing that they put on there, but I've never heard of it. And then a CRM, yes. I would say when you're starting out, you can use Mojo as your CRM, so don't get too crazy. But I would say that, once you get bigger, you can use something that's Podio-based or something that's a good CRM out there. Yeah.
Okay. And do you connect your CRM to your dialer or anything like that, or are they just too simple?
I don't. You could do what a little Zapier deal, right? You can, and a lot of people do. It comes over a little bit ugly, and I like it super clean in my CRM. So I send, whenever we get a lead in, it goes to my VA. Unless it's a super hot, it'll go to my lead manager, and she'll get it to my acquisition manager. But if it's a lead, it goes to my VA. She cleans it up. She puts it into my CRM, typically within 5 or 10 minutes. And it's all cleaned up, and then sets a task for my acquisition manager to follow up.
Okay. No, Everett, I saw you pop on there, buddy. Did you have any success? You're muted.
He's talking. We can't hear you, Everett. I think, if you go up to your little settings there, it should help should help to hear you there, Everett.
What's your opinion on subject to wholesaling? That's from Rakira.
I love it. So a couple different things. So people can wholesale subject twos. Now, subject twos are a whole different thing, right? And I don't do them, so I can't really speak to them. But what I do is, whenever I get a situation that looks like it's a subject to, I'll bring it to somebody that does a lot of subject twos, and they'll pay me like $2,500. So that's usually what I do. But some people will literally lock up a subject to and wholesale it out for somebody that wants to keep building their rental portfolio.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you doing any SMS at all?
Yeah, I do text blasting. I use Batch Lead Stacker, batchleadstacker.com. And you guys could test it out. You get like 500 free texts, and it's $1 for like 14 days. Use the TTP coupon code for sure. Get in there. But yeah, it's phenomenal. And it organizes all the lists and makes sure that you're not skip tracing the same addresses twice, and does all that. So definitely something to check out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do anything with websites at all? Do you have a website?
I do. I have a website, but I don't. We're not really pushing it right now. It's more just, for any kind of. Listen, if you're starting out in this business, you do not need a website. I'm telling you, that whole, well, if they check into me and I don't have a website, if you can't explain to them that that you're just a family-run business, and you do things face-to-face, and you do things, and you communicate over the phone and not through a website, and they don't want to do business with you, then they're not going to do business with you. So if you want to do it, get a website, fine. But what I see is it's a huge distraction for a lot of people. A lot of people don't start in this business until they have one, and I think it's a big mistake.
All right, I'm scrolling through here quite a bit. How do you grow your cash buyers list, Brent? That's from Mara Garcia again.
Mara, go to my YouTube channel. No, honestly, because there's a couple interviews in there that are absolutely stellar that I have with my disposition manager, and where I show you actually how to pull a cash buyer list. So the number one tool that I use is through ttpdata.com. ttpdata.com. It's powered by PropStream. But you go through there, and you can do, when you get a property, you can draw a box around the property that you locked up, and it'll show you all the cash buyers that have bought in that area. And then I just get their information, I skip trace them, and I call them and I let them know. And then the other thing I highly encourage you to do is, once you build up a list, trade it with somebody in your market. Trade up. So we started with 300. We traded up, got to 500, traded up, got to 1,000, traded up, got to 6,000, traded up, got to 15,000, and then we pulled it back down and got the top 6,500 buyers in our market, and now we crush disposition.
Love that.
Yep. But yeah, there's a couple videos in there, guys. Yep. And a ton in talktopeople.com.
Sharif Zubi says, gents, absolutely loving this. He's based out of New York.
Awesome.
Currently going after all the 6 lists you mentioned, getting there slowly. One of his major struggles has been getting hold of pre-foreclosure lists. Just getting those lists. So where do you get the pre-foreclosure lists?
They have some at ttpdata.com for sure. They might have, I don't know if Property Radar is in New York. You can check that, but ttpdata.com. I mean, it just updates and boom, you pull them. Yep.
Alrighty. Let's see. Scrolling through some comments to find the next question.
Is that a cat?
Yeah, I just got a cat. I threw him I put him gently in the bathroom so that he didn't stand on, he stands on the keyboard and stuff whenever I'm at my
Oh, yeah.
Can't have that.
Well,
I'll
before
bring
we
him
get
out
off,
before
you
we
better
get
show us that cat.
Yeah, I'll show it.
Yeah.
Show you that cat. Let's see. All right. Sydney says, currently in the Air Force Reserves. Thanks for your service.
Awesome.
They say in Myrtle, I'm not sure if it's a man or woman, Sydney. So I'll say Myrtle Beach, moving to Charleston. Should I go ahead and focus on the Charleston market since they're already moving there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, rock and roll. I think she's out in like 6 months. Start building momentum. Did she say 6 months? Is that right? So start building momentum and rock and roll.
Okay. Mark Irwin says he had some issues with the app. Mark, it sounds like you may have an update available. We released a couple of days ago that fixed some of those bugs I think you're experiencing. Let's see. We're about running out of time here, folks, so I'm going to find a few more good ones.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to confirm, are you only calling during the day?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, some people, if you get off work, and I have students around the country that call from 6 to 8 and do well. What I'll say is you're going to get a lot more people that are a little bit angrier. And it just depends on how thick your skin is and what your endurance is for rejection. So I would say if the sun's up, rock and roll. But if you don't have the opportunity, I mean, early morning's a nightmare. But in the evenings, you can dip into until about 8. But a lot of people won't answer. And the people that do are usually angry. Doesn't mean you can't get deals. And listen, I'm not going to stop somebody from being proactive. So.
Is there a market that's too small to wholesale in? Like, what's the minimum city size, you think?
Yeah, here's the thing. That's a great question. I think you got to be 50,000 or above. I really do. And I think in 50,000, you can really crush it, but you're going to you're going to have to scale out eventually, right? So 50,000.
Okay.
Good question. Great question.
So Alex wants to know, what's your experience with Filipino cold callers? You obviously use Costa Rica.
Yeah, so I've hired. Yeah, no, I've used them a lot. I know a lot of people that use them. Here's what I'll say. They're about 5 to 10% as good as you are, right? Like literally, like if it takes you, 10 hours to get a deal, right? It's going to take them it's going to take them 20 times that, 200 hours, right? So they're about 5 to 10% as good as you. Here's the issue with them. They are changed out of jobs all the time, okay? They are trained to follow the script, which is great, but they're trained to follow it as it's written. So their tone is constantly like this, and they don't understand what active listening is. So literally, the only deals typically that happen are really, 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 really sweet people that are kind and patient and want to sell, or people that are absolute laydowns and somehow they just fumbled on it and they're like, well, I need to get rid of it, whatever. So it takes a lot for them to get to do a really good job. It takes a lot of training. I've had dozens and dozens and dozens. I know people that have dozens currently that are doing calls for them, but You got to buy a lot of data for that. And you burn through a lot of data and you get a lot of leads. And the problem with the leads from them is there are a lot of bad leads. The problem with bad leads are they hide the good leads and deals slip through the cracks. So if that's the only budget that you have and you don't have the time to make the calls yourself, try it out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not that expensive, but I would highly suggest that you do it yourself, progress to getting an American caller that's living abroad and crush it.
All right. So Alonzo Fields wants to know, they notice a lot of homes for sale. And
there.
yeah, this is George.
Hey, George.
If there's a lot of homes for sale in a neighborhood, is that a bad sign that they shouldn't maybe wholesale there?
Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. I don't hear that a lot. I don't hear a lot of homes for sale. I mean, just across the board, in most markets, there's a lack of inventory. But if you've got an excess of inventory, yeah, I would find an area that's more popular, that there are not a lot of people wanting to sell it, sell the properties. They want to stay there, or, it's kind of coming up or getting gentrified, so to speak. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of that I would assume is probably super low price point. And I don't like the super low price point because there's just too much. I mean, you got to get it at basically nothing. So what I always say is if you can, stay at a minimum once they're fixed up at 150,000. Okay. You can make some money in the cheaper stuff if you're selling to buy and hold guys and stuff like that. But usually those deals are anywhere from like 2,000 or 3,000 to 5,000 that you make. And I like doing bigger deals, and I want you to do bigger deals.
Awesome. Well, that pretty much brings us to our time, and we're actually at the bottom of the question list. There's just a couple more.
Let's get them.
Let's see. Sharicia Hodge says she's feeling stuck and she's gotten shunned for mentioning that she's cold calling and driving for dollars.
Okay.
What's the absolute first thing she should do? But I mean, I wouldn't feel insecure about whoever is shunning you. I mean, those people probably aren't making money wholesaling, I'm guessing.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely not. And a lot of people just don't understand. So I would say 100% find a tribe, find a community, find some people that are doing this, whether it be social media, whether it be in your market, whether it be either on social media or meetups in your market, and be around those people a lot more than the people that are haters. Remember, people are just insecure, and they see you doing stuff and they think that it's silly, but it might work. And they're like, well, that just seems stupid. So don't worry about them. Just worry about doing the work. When you start showing them these big fat $10, $20, $30, $50,000 checks, that'll shut their mouths real quick.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's why most people post their checks on Facebook, is to let those people know.
Exactly.
Believe in them at the beginning that it worked.
Yep.
So somebody wants to know, how do you skip trace LLCs?
Yep.
Any advice on there?
Yeah. So go to the corporation commission in your area or your state, and grab the LLC name, plug it in there. Most states, it's public information. So look for who the managing member is. Typically the managing member puts an address where they get everything from the state in regards to that LLC. Skip trace them, Google them, find them, and that's the best method.
Perfect. And then last one, let's see here. Well, actually, Darlene says she needs a one-on-one with you. So you actually offer one-on-one with your students, right?
With the coaching. Yep.
Right. So can you say one more time where people could maybe apply for that?
For sure. So for the coaching program, go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. wholesalinginc.com/TTP. And there you go, Elise. And that's for the one-on-one coaching. That's for the the coaching program, and it's phenomenal. Take a look at it, scroll down, see what the program's about, see all the testimonials, keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, because there's a lot. If it feels good in your gut, guys, sign up for a call. Would love to work with you personally, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking an hour of your time tonight, Brent. It helped a lot of us.
Thank you. This is really cool. And thank you guys for being on here. I think that this is, you really have to understand how special and different you are. You know, there's billions of people on this planet. There's tiny fraction of people that have a passion for real estate, have a passion for wholesaling real estate, and we're interested in being proactive in that effort. So I think that we're a very special breed, and I want to support you and give you as much love as I can. Talktopeople.com for all the free resources, and wholesalinginc.com/TTP for the coaching.
Awesome. Definitely check out Brent's link, and let's give Brent one more round of thanks, guys, in the comments.
Let's go, guys.
This evening to do this.
Listen, it all comes down to talking to people. That is the biggest thing that I want you to leave with. It's very simple. You guys can do this. I know you can do it. Seriously, if I could do it, you can do it. I'm telling you, and you can see successful people around the country doing it. You've got this. Check us out. Be a part of it. Be a part of this movement. Be a part of this passion. Be a part of this proactive, approach to real estate. And Elise, you're the best. You keep everybody in line. Good job. David, love you. You're the best.
Thank you, man. And thanks, Hannah. You haven't met Hannah yet.
And Hannah, not yet, but I'll meet you soon. As soon as that first line for the
champagne and the first class ticket comes your way. That's right.
See you guys.
Good night, guys.